Hello everyone, I Dr. Kirti Sahu is going to discuss the concept of linear and orthogonal transformation in this video lecture. This topic is very important as usually multiple choice questions are asked on this particular topic. So let us see what is meant by linear and orthogonal transformations. So linear transformation. So suppose we have 2 points in two different coordinate system. P and Q are in the different coordinate system x and y, x and x dash y dash. And they are related by the relation of the form x1 is equal to a11x plus a12y, y1 is equal to a21x plus a22y. We can write this in a matrix form in this way, where I can write this as y is equal to ax. So here this transformation where x is transformed into y is called as a linear transformation in 2 dimension, because here we have considered a coordinate system in 2 dimension. Here this matrix A is called matrix of linear transformation or a linear operator. So such type of transformations are called linear transformations in 2 dimension. We can extend this definition to n dimension also. So therefore, similarly, the linear transformation in n dimension is given by such type of relations. Now, let us go through the important definitions or properties related to linear transformations. So if this matrix of linear transformation has determinant 0, that is determinant of A is equal to 0, then the linear transformation is called a singular transformations. Otherwise, it is called regular or non-singular transformations, right? So when determinant 0, singular transformation. Determinant not equal to 0, regular or non-singular transformation. Okay. Now, the next is, if we have y is equal to ax as a regular transformation, then only inverse transformation exists, and which is given by x is equal to a inverse y. Right? So when the transformation, that is when determinant of A is not equal to 0, then only inverse transformation exists. Similarly, we can have a composite linear transformation. So what it says, that if we have one transformation y is equal to ax and another transformation is related, that is z equal to by, then the transformation from x to z can be written as, so we have z is equal to by, but y is nothing but ax. So put y as ax over here. So what I am getting here, b is a constant, linear operator, a is also a linear operator, right? So their multiplication will also be a linear operator, right? So this is nothing but a matrix of linear transformation. So here z is getting, x is getting transformed to the z. So this transformation is called as a composite linear transformation. Right. Now, linear transformation usually represents the translation motion. The next we have orthogonal transformation. So, a linear transformation y equal to ax is called orthogonal transformation if the matrix of linear transformation is orthogonal. That is, if A is a orthogonal matrix, then such transformations are called orthogonal transformations. Now, so a linear transformation y is equal to ax transforms x1 square plus x2 square plus up to xn square into y1 square plus y2 square plus yn square. Then it is called as a orthogonal transformations, right? And in such case, A is a orthogonal matrix. So any linear transformations where a matrix of transformation is orthogonal is called orthogonal transformation. Just recollect what is the condition required for an orthogonal matrix. So here, for orthogonal matrix, A transpose is equal to A inverse, or we have A into A transpose is equal to A transpose into A is equal to I. This is the requirement of orthogonal matrix. Again, one more thing, in an orthogonal transformation, the magnitude of each row of A is 1. If you find that for an orthogonal matrix, the magnitude of each row or a column comes out to be 1. And as well as determinant of orthogonal matrix is always a plus minus 1, either 1 or it will be minus 1. So these are the important things regarding the orthogonal transformations. Now again, a linear transformations preserve length only if the matrix is orthogonal, right? And the product of two or more orthogonal matrices is also a orthogonal, hence the transformation will be orthogonal. So based on this, let us solve first example. Show that the transformation is non-singular. Means what I have to show? It is a regular. A regular means determinant of A must be not equal to 0. And hence find the inverse transformation. So first I have to show that when we write this system of transformation into a matrix form, then the matrix of transformation so obtained, that is determinant of A must not be equal to 0. Right. So let us write first this in a matrix form. You know very well how to write the system of equation in matrix form. So that is I am denoting it by y is equal to ax. A is a matrix of transformations, right? So let us find its determinant. Determinant comes out to be not equal to 0. Therefore, this given transformation is non-singular, or it is also called as a regular transformation. So as it is a non-singular, therefore the inverse transformation exists. Let us find inverse transformation. So it is given by the formula x is equal to A inverse y. X is equal to A inverse y is the inverse transformation, where I have to find out A inverse. So let us find A inverse by adjoint method. Okay, now here A is a 3 by 3 matrix, so we need to first find out adjoint of this matrix A, which is according to definition a transpose of the cofactor matrix of A. So we will have to first find out the cofactor matrix of A. Now cofactor matrix of A is given by the cofactor of each and every element of the matrix. So let us find the cofactor of these 9 elements. So let us find out cofactor of first element, that is element in the position 1 1, C11. So that is given by minus 1 to the power 1 plus 1. Now delete the element lying in the first row and first column and write the determinant of remaining one. So that is determinant of 0 1 1 3. Now simplify this, you will get minus 1. Similarly, at random, let us take cofactor of element in 2 3 position. What is the element in 2 3 position? So that is this element. Okay, so what we do, we will delete the element lying in the second row and third column. Whatever is left, we will write the determinant of that. So determinant of 1 1 minus 1 1. Okay, and minus 1 to the power, just addition of these two, 2 plus 3. So this gets simplifies to minus 2. You know very well how to find out the cofactor. It is just a kind of revision. So like this we get the cofactor of all the 9 elements. Now once we get the cofactor of each element, we will write the cofactor matrix of A, which is given by this. Now then for getting the adjoint, you need to take the transpose of this cofactor matrix given by this one. How to take the transpose? So interchange the row and column of a given matrix. So we will write first column as a first row. Okay, so this is the adjoint of A. Once we get adjoint of A, obviously determinant of A is minus 4. So this adjoint upon determinant is the A inverse. So likewise we get the inverse of the matrix A. So I am dividing each element by minus 4. So we get A inverse in this way. Now putting this in a inverse matrix is x1, x2, x3, that is capital X is equal to A inverse into Y. What is Y? The column matrix of y1, y2, y3. Now multiply these two matrices. We get x1 is equal to 1 by 4 y1 plus 1 by 4 y2 minus 1 by 4 y3. Likewise, x2 will be 7 by 4 y1 minus 5 by 4 y2 minus 3 by 4 y3. And x3 will be minus 1 by 2 y1 plus 1 by 2 y2 plus 1 by 3 y3. So this you can observe here, the x is the y1, y2, y3 is getting transformed to the x1. So therefore is the required inverse transformations. Now let us see another example. Express this in a matrix form is the first target. Find the composite transformation which expresses x1, x2 in terms of z1 and z2. So the second task is to express x1, x2 in terms of z1 and z2, and once we get that, we have to write x1 plus x2 in terms of z1, z2. So let us find this one by one. First, to write in a matrix form. So given transformation can be written in matrix form as. So first we write this one. So we have a x1, x2 column matrix of x1 x2 equal to coefficient of y1 y2 and then column matrix of y1 y2. So these two equations are written in matrix form. Similarly, write these two equations. y1 y2 equal to coefficient of z1 z2 is 1 2 3 0 and then z1 z2. So this I am denoting as x is equal to ay, and this matrix form is denoted by y equal to bz. Right, now we need to find out the composite transformations. So required composite transformation is given by x is equal to a, y is bz, so we'll substitute bz. Now this is completely a matrix, right? Matrix of linear transformations. So we'll club this together. Now we need to find out AB, A into B, this is A, this is B, multiply. So what is this? So this is nothing but a matrix of composite transformations where x is getting expressed in terms of z. Now multiply and get the required expression, that is x1 and x2 in terms of z1 and z2. So that is the second part. So this covers the second part, that is to express x1 x2 in terms of z1 and z2. Now the third part is we need to write x1 plus x2. So let us add left hand side, so x1 plus x2. How to add a right hand side? So adding corresponding coefficient. So we will add coefficient of z1, that is 9 plus 11, and then coefficient of z2, that is 6 plus minus 2, that is 6 minus 2. So in this way we get x1 plus x2 is equal to 20 z1 plus 4 z2. So this is the third required result. So first is to write in a matrix form, second is a composite transformation, and third is expression of x1 and x2. So in this way we get a desired results. I hope all these concepts are very easy and easy to understand and to apply as well. Let us see the next example. If xi is equal to, this is the relation given, prove that transformation is orthogonal and hence write the inverse transformation. So first of all we will write this transformation in matrix form. We know very well how to write it in a matrix form. Now we need to show it orthogonal. So what we have to show, that A inverse is A transpose. So let us find first A inverse. A inverse is adjoint of A upon determinant of A. You will find that determinant of A will come out to be 1 and adjoint we can find out directly. Just interchange diagonal elements and change the sign of remaining element. So you will find the change over here, right? Sign gets changed. So this is A inverse. Similarly, we can find out the A transpose, this interchange rows and columns. So from these two results, you will find that A inverse is equal to A transpose. Therefore, the transformation is orthogonal. Now, the inverse transformation. Inverse transformation is given by x is equal to A inverse y, where we know A inverse right. So substitute x, A inverse is already known to us, put that value, y is this matrix of xi eta, multiply, simplify, you will get x in terms of xi eta, y also in terms of xi eta. So is the required inverse transformations. Like this one can get easily the desired result. Now next problem is prove that A is orthogonal. As I told you, to check whether a matrix is orthogonal, there are two ways. One is to show A inverse is equal to A transpose, and another procedure is to show A into A transpose is equal to I. So here I will apply A into A transpose. Take the product of these two, multiply and get the result. If we get identity matrix, then the given matrix is orthogonal. Hence it is orthogonal. So the last example is, if A is equal to matrix given is orthogonal, find ABC. So A is given as orthogonal. Orthogonal means what we have? A into A transpose is equal to I. So let us find A. A is given. Let us find its transpose. We know very well how to find its transpose. Interchange the rows and columns of a given matrix. Is equal to I is given. Now multiply. So 1 by 3 into 1 by 3, 1 by 9, multiply it on the right hand side. So 9 times this matrix. 9 times this matrix means 9 times the element of each and every element. So we have 1900, 090, 009. and then multiply these two matrices. We get resultant in this way. Now equate corresponding elements. So 5 plus a square equal to what we get? 9. Then this is 5 plus b square equal to 9. And then 8 plus c square equal to 9. From this, a square will be 4, b square will be 4, c square will be 1. So a will come out to be 2, b 2 and c also 1. So with this we got the value of a, b, c. So I hope this concept of linear transformation and orthogonal transformation is easy to understand and you can get all the answers very well. So thank you for watching the video.